So I'm continuing my visits to local record stores here in Calgary. As I said in my previous video, I want to collect and discover more albums in vinyl. So the second record store I'm visiting is Melodiya Records. It's located just outside of downtown Calgary. I also found out about this store from Instagram. I like how they describe themselves on their website, cultivating an unhealthy audio dependence. I parked at the back of the store and made my way to the front. I went to the wrong door. I did not see right away the note in which door to enter. You will have to go through a comic store with rows of very nice collector item toys, which are amazing. This store has a calm vibe. The music playing when I entered is not the usual rock or pop music. I think it's soul music. They are also selling merch, new hi-fi equipment, and used CDs. They sell albums from modern artists like Chappelle Roan and Taylor Swift, and they are on display together with some classic and I would say non-mainstream albums. They have a nice area for metal and heavy metal albums. They have a very nice selection of used albums which have lots of movie soundtracks as well. They have lots of electronic and oddball or eclectic albums. So they do have a diverse selection, but what caught my attention is this corner here where they have lots of jazz and blues albums. They have albums from Gary Bartz, Art Blakey, Kenny Burrell, Nina Simone, Jimmy Smith, Ray Charles, Benny Carter, Joe Henderson, Andrew Hill, Art Pepper, Jimmy Reed, Bill Evans, and Jackie McLean, and many others. They have albums that are considered progressive rock or experimental music like Sun Ra. Miles Davis, of course. You could spend hours here browsing through jazz and blues albums, used and new. Now I have to say I'm not very much into jazz or blues music. I just have a few albums in my collection, but I always want to try more and explore this genre. So I bought 2 albums and I'm going to introduce them to you when I get home. I bought Ella Fitzgerald's album, The First Lady of Song. I'll be honest, I was actually looking for the album Like Someone in Love, but they did not have it at that time I visited. Ella Fitzgerald is popular even among mainstream music fans. She is considered one of the greatest singers in history and well known in jazz. But I have not really listened to her, so I picked this album to get an introduction to her music. This release puts together various sessions from 1947 to 1955, presenting Ella as the main singer, backed by various orchestras and instrumental groups originally released on the album The First Lady of Song, and the producers added other tracks from the same sessions added as a bonus. So this is before Ella Fitzgerald became an international star. I was pleased I got this album because I got a taste of how great she is as a singer. Recording was very clean and has a nice soundstage. On the song The Tender Trap, you can imagine we're the people who are doing the background clappings on the stage. I like her singing style, but I will admit I have not really been too much into bebop or ska music. But I will still try to hear those albums where she paired with other great artists like Duke Ellington, and will still try to get that album Like Someone in Love. And I also bought The Black Saint and the Sinner Lady by Charles Mingus. I've always wanted to listen to a Charles Mingus album because his name in albums is always mentioned in Audiophile magazines. Most audiophiles will probably be familiar with Charles Mingus, but I will still give some information about him. Charles Mingus Jr. was an American jazz upright bassist, composer, band leader, pianist, and author. He is considered one of the greatest jazz musicians and composers in history. His career spans 3 decades and have collaborated with other jazz greats. He died of Lou Gehrig's disease in 1979 at the age of 56. The gatefold cover art features a glossy laminated design. Acoustic sounds recreated that period-accurate orange cross-styled Impulse Records label design from the early 1960s. The vinyl I bought is an Acoustic Sounds reissue. And from the articles I read, acoustic sound reissues are made to a very high standard, pressed on high quality, and I noticed that with this dark black 180-gram vinyl. Mingus released The Black Saint and the Sinner Lady in 1963, described as one of the greatest achievements in orchestration by any composer in jazz history. Mingus regarded Black Saint at the time and also when looking back later as his best album. Black Saint consists entirely of new compositions, which Mingus conceived as a suite for ballet. I would say this is not an easy listening jazz. You cannot play it as a background music. It will demand your attention. The sound goes back and forth between joy and despair. Mingus actually calls this tears of sounds. The liner notes are very interesting to me. With Mingus giving his piece, but then his psychotherapist provided notes as well. Let me just read a portion of what Dr. Pollock wrote on the liner notes, which I love the most. He tries to tell people he is in great pain and anguish because he loves. He cannot accept that he is alone, all by himself. He wants to love and be loved. His music is a call for acceptance, respect, love, understanding, fellowship, freedom. A plea to change the evil in man and to end hatred. So that's my visit at Melodiya Record Store. I plan to visit a few more record stores here in Calgary and I'll share it with you. I think it's a different feeling when you go to a record store and browse through all these magnificent albums. So I would encourage you to visit the local record store in your city or town when you are buying albums, whether new or used or vinyl or CD, and feel that vibe. Sometimes you get to discover new music or albums or see something interesting that will enrich your experience. Enjoy your visit and happy listening.